Hey, Podcast America, welcome to episode 70 of the Enlightened Neanderthals. And before we get into his show notes, let's talk about my own company, Training Northwest, which you can find at trainingnorthwestllc.com. The Rifleman Camp is done. Guns and Geese came through last weekend. We have one more public class listed for October 5th, and that'll be about it for the range for 2024, excluding private lessons, which I'm always happy to discuss if you email me at trainingnorthwest@protonmail.com. Mike, what did we not talk about today?
First, we didn't talk about, well, what if I want to go to one of your courses, but I'm using iron sights? Is there something I could do for that?
We are also a Vortex dealer. You can find Vortex Optics on the website under the Pro Shop tab. And even if it's something that isn't listed on the site, I carry their entire inventory. So again, you can just email me and I'll get it in the mail for you. And if you're local here in Snohomish County and you buy an optic from us, you get to come out and zero your firearm on our range.
Or want to drive out.
Oh, my God.
Maybe somebody's making a little weekend of it.
Make a road trip out of it. Come up here. You can have a beer with some of the Neanderthals.
I've been buying all my optics at Cabela's. Are you really?
Cabela,
you have this program, Tobin?
I think you could zero in the parking lot.
Damn it! I've been.
You get away with anything once, Mike.
Yeah, damn it.
We could set up some targets out there.
All right, whatever.
What the fuck did we just talk about?
I would like to say this, Jordan. What did we talk about?
Hunting dogs.
Oh man, I think
Civil War.
We talked
people,
animal
coaches,
woolly mammoths,
good, bad
coaches. Yep.
The longest story
MMA,
in the world.
Longest story in the world.
Yeah. Mike's MMA career, and a couple other things in between.
Yeah, take your ADD meds, guys, and enjoy the episode.
They try and sing and knock them off or whatever.
Whoa, dude! The Japanese,
this is on TV.
Oh yeah, these Japanese shows are getting out of hand, and I don't know if it's real or not. That's the thing.
Travel Bros.
It's like, is this travel? No, it's Passport Bros. Correction, it's called Passport Bros. But that was something I found out. Was these Japanese TV shows.
Just how did you stumble on this information?
I was just
worldly, man.
Yeah.
He's a very worldly.
Yeah. As I'm perusing the internet.
As I'm studying Japanese culture.
As one does. Thinking about a trip, that's why. So there's all kinds of them, though. Yeah. There's like a guy they time how long he stares at a woman. Like there's like a good looking girl and she's set up there and he's like, the camera's over here and it times his eye contact with her and they get up to like 2.5 seconds and like they can't do it any longer and they turn their face.
Is she, like eye to eye contact?
No, just her sitting on a bench or something.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's
all weird.
Yeah.
There's one where it was like American Idol and like you had to sing a song very well. But then there was a girl behind a sheet giving the guy a hand job
a lot of hand jobs.
A lot of hand jobs.
A lot of hand
as
jobs.
He's singing the song. And some guys were like perfect. It's like Figaro, Figaro, nothing.
And other guys are like, oh!
Yeah. Some guys are just hitting the high notes like, it's fun to watch, though.
Dude, well, was that...
Sometime we should just open Mike's Google history.
Please don't.
Please don't.
What was just read it online?
We'll just... Each one will be like a podcast topic.
Oh, 100%. What was that one that was on FX for a while? MXC.
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
Dude. That was my favorite.
Kenny Blankenship and Vic Romano and Guy Ledouche. Yeah.
So, do you remember that?
Barely.
So it was.
I just remember it looked like it hurt.
There was some painful ones. So, like, there was a one where they had to run across this water with on rocks,
sinkers and floaters.
Some of them would sink,
yeah,
and they would
just shit into the next one.
Oh, yeah. hard. And
yes.
it was like, holy shit. And everybody's like, ah, ha, ha, and they just start laughing. Like, oh, no, thank you. Or the one they try and run up the hill and the boulders would be falling on them.
But isn't that such a better game show? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. America is famous for game shows like Jeopardy or Price is Right or shit like that. But they're all non-physical. It's all like, let me bet on this, or Wheel of Fortune is finish finish
Deal
all
or
the
no
clues
deal.
or buy some vowels. When you like, I find kind of Japanese game shows a little bit more interesting because they involve a little bit of athleticism.
Oh, yeah.
Like Fear Factor, I was
feel
never
like most
in-
extreme challenge was like American Ninja Warrior meets the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
It was kind of like it was sort of
Larry,
like
Curly, and Moe.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Dude, I loved it.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, they had the haircut all fucking like they were sumo wrestlers.
Dude, the voiceover was half the show, though.
Oh, 100%.
Like, the writing in that was amazing.
Yeah, just, I mean, could you imagine finding an old game show like that and just dubbing it?
Making a script
it'd be
for
so
it.
fun.
Oh, my God. You know how many beers you would crush and like to come out with the ultimate episode? It would be incredible.
That would be a good time.
Yeah, that would be a fun one.
Yeah, so there was that. What else have I been up to? I was looking at that, and then, yeah, not a whole lot. Just trying to get this fucking knee all straight. Trying not to drink.
Knee prop.
It's been tough.
Cheers. Cheers to you, buddy.
What do you got there, buddy?
Little G&T, don't worry about that. Knee problems are the worst. Every time I get a knee injury, it makes me reevaluate my life. Like, I always feel like it's I don't know. You feel vulnerable. You ever had your car broken into and you're like, oh my God, my personal space has been violated?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Just as I get older and realize I'm not as strong and resilient as I used to be, you're right. You do start, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think there's definitely that. You know, you start looking sideways at somebody, and it's like,
I'm not going to deal with that.
I'm not gonna fucking. I'm gonna have to like.
Yeah.
If I had to, I would, but yeah, that would suck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just the reality of dealing with life injured, or like what it would be if, you know. And I'm feeling bad for myself. And I'm walking through Target and limping through Target. Maybe milking it a little bit.
Here in the cart.
Yeah. And here comes this tatted up dude with one leg fucking walking past me. And it's just like, motherfucker.
Damn it. Oh,
I
man.
was like, stand up straight, bitch. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Walk. Quit limping. This guy would love to be able to limp, you fuck.
Shit. All right. So I got some idea sex for you guys here. Otherwise, we're just going to be bullshitting about grocery shopping. It'd be the most boring episode ever.
I don't know. It's pretty fun.
I got cantaloupe with a coupon.
Yeah, dude.
So I had
10
this thought
cents
the
a
other
pound.
night it was kind of concerning to me because I'm not like convinced of this, but I think there's a chance that America as we know it is already lost. And it's because in order for a society to function, you have to have like this commonality of ideals and morals and some common experience, which a lot of times religion fills that role. That's why a lot of societies have one religion. And I was like, holy shit, we've become so fractured as communities. We have none of that common thread, even down at the county level, I think. But I can see like a major balkanization happening of the United States over like the next 20 years. And to me, that feels more likely right now than the nation being kept together.
Well, I mean, you call it whatever you want, but I mean, that's been throughout history. That's just civil war. That's just a unified state falling apart into its own individual territorial.
Yeah, but I think when people think civil war, they think two sides kind of battling it out, and we're too intermixed. Like there would be no front line.
But
It would not be possible, I don't think.
But isn't Africa been in civil war throughout, like, you know, the last couple 100 years due to people intervening with it?
I was just going to say, I think that has to do with other nation states.
But yeah, but look at ourselves too. Don't we say fake news and like the amount of propaganda and stuff?
People intervene with us all the time.
Yeah, and it's not necessary.
Take.
Like he said though, I don't feel like there would be one exact front line, but I think we said it like when we first started this, like maybe the best way to sow like chaos is just through disinformation. You can't develop, I'm this side, I'm that side. This is one reality, this is the other. Everything's kind of up in the air as to forming narratives. And that's what forms just lack of faith in institution, lack of faith in the people around you. I think it's just chaos is being instilled in.
Do you think it's intentional?
I mean, you look at, what was that Russian thing?
Yuri Bezmenov or something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, well,
all of our
the Communist Party
have been infiltrated.
But like not only the Communist Party of Europe, but you look at the Communist parties of Asia, look at Vietnam, look at Cambodia, look at China, look at North Korea. It's like these ideas of, I don't know, communism and democracy is kind of gone on for the last 200 years in a way. To Asia, it feels a little newer, but yeah, why not? If you're a communist group and you live, like if America was communist and everyone else was around us was democratic, and like someone in South Africa is like, we're a communist country, it'd be like, well, let's try and bring our ideas and morals or our thought process for what we think the world would be better. Like, let's try and align, even though we're far away. I feel like you have a big shift in like post World War II.
I don't even think neighbors can align right now. Barely.
I don't know. I think
you see China cozying up to South America, Mexico, things like that.
No, I'm talking about here in the
actual
United
neighbors.
States. I'm talking about the future of this country.
Canada's gone.
Canada's gone. Yeah.
Canada's already gone. Our neighbor left us.
Yeah.
But the people are still good people. It's just the government, like our government.
Well, I'm back to what are our common threads as Americans now? Because it used to be like God, country, hard work, entrepreneurship.
I would say opportunity would be the biggest thing. The reason that we say so many people are coming into this country is because of an opportunity of a life that they can't fulfill because their government is either one, corrupt and doesn't allow it, or just they don't have the infrastructure.
Do you think they are still thinking of it as the land of opportunity where 40 years ago you could come here, start a business, and it's up, it's kind of up to you. That's that equal, or it's the equal, Jesus Christ, equality of opportunity, not of outcome. Mm-hmm. But now, what do you do if you come here as an immigrant? Because it's harder and harder to start a business. So it's like, is the American dream to come here and drive an Uber?
No, I think the American dream for a lot of them is to come collect some sort of a welfare.
I agree with you. Yeah. For a lot of them, yes. But again, that American dream has been watered down because now it's very unlikely that you're going to come here and start a small business. It's very likely you're going to come here and drive fucking Taco Bell deliveries, or Amazon deliveries, and that's not the American dream.
Yeah, but if you look like in a Venezuela or certain areas where it's like the society around you is collapsing, anything is better than the shithole nations that you have.
I get that part, but at the same time, I don't want to lower hey, it's better than Venezuela. That's not that's
a good travel ad.
That could be Trump's. Should that be Trump? Yeah, that could be my campaign slogan if I run for office. Hey, at least it's not Venezuela.
That's white guys for Kamala, right? Hey, at least it's better than Venezuela. Yeah. Oh, white bros for Kamala.
Fucking
yeah, I mean,
What are our common threads now?
If you come from an area where it's like your area is so corrupt and there's gang violence in places like that, it's like, yes, I see why you're coming to America. And especially if you don't have the opportunity to even live a normal existence, at least it's like these people are going to pay me and there's an idea I can open business for the most part. And it's not like those businesses are going to be dealing with hydraulical engineering and just, the craziest of advanced things. It's like I can start a lawn business. I can start a taco truck. Not to be racist, but I think that was.
Damn, dude.
But a food truck, let's put it that way. But, I mean, there still is that ability. But just like there is that ability, those same basic functions have to exist in those places too. You have civil wars in your country, you're still going to have food vendors. You're still going to have farm. I mean, it's going to get disrupted. And once the problem gets worked out, life will go back to normal. But it's like through all these things, you're still going to have the need of food, especially if you're like, oh, everyone says like Trump's this fascist dictator. Okay, so say he is a fascist dictator. It's still going to need a lot of farms to feed his army that's apparently going to take over the world. You know, so this idea of just also like if it's shitty in your area, everyone's going to run. Well, it's like some people will run. Like our country falls apart and people start to scatter to different parts of the state that they think have better rules for it. But people are people, and you get used to your environment. There's still going to be people living there and inhabiting those areas.
So that was my next question, is that if it falls far enough to where we're into because what happens in these failed nation states like in Asia and Africa is that warlords take over. Yeah. And so then that's when the balkanization happens, is you start sort of people who align themselves with one ideal. You start to coalesce along common threads again. And so I could see, I'm just kind of like brainstorming scenarios here, but it's like, well, shit, what if a bunch of whatever, we'll say leftists, move into Snohomish, and I'm just randomly picking a place. They start taking over Snohomish County, and they start persecuting people who don't think like them. Well, that causes like a refugee situation. Those people find their way to Wenatchee, right? To where people do think more like them. And so people start coalescing along these common threads, but then they'll have that friction point between them. But and I could very easily see that happening here.
But oh, sorry.
It's already started.
No, yeah, I mean it's the fucking Pacific Crest Trail, like that. They're you know on that side. Guess what we are? Fucking red state. On this side, it's blue. Yeah. And then little pockets, or I guess it's actually looking at the county voting. Kind of disappointed. Yeah. But
Snohomish County has gone full blue.
Yeah. Not full, because I live in Snohomish County, and fucking, I'll tell you what. Yeah. Yeah, just it kind of sucks when you look at it like that. But I'm wondering how this ideology is taking hold in such crazy ways. Like, I mean, it's exploding. Yeah. This leftist fucking.
Because I think they played the long game. And they, like I said earlier, they've infiltrated all of the institutions, and most importantly, the education system. But they're also in all the regulatory agencies and three-letter bureaucracies. Yeah. So they choose who gets prosecuted. They choose who gets investigated. They choose who gets audited. They give the education to your children. It was a very slow burn and played very well, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the idea of progressivism, like if you're not a Democrat, you're not progressive. You know, I mean, it's tribalism in the end, but the idea to make it us versus them, but that's every war that's existed. And I mean, sometimes wars, if you look at the United States, we are the product with, I feel, is a good doctrine written by warlords. Because we did come over here under one umbrella and we broke away. Yeah. And we broke away saying that there's a better way to live. We felt inflicted upon by persecution of someone else's rules, where we thought maybe a form of liberty or individualism was a better way to be governed. That made us rise to the occasion. So, I mean, maybe this is, I've always said it, like these are the growing pains you have to get to get to the next chapter. Like United States was an idea, but to get to a place where it really is everyone's free, where you start to abolish slavery, it's like you have to go through those growing pains too. That's a part of.
And that's a great point, because it shouldn't be all doom and gloom. This could actually be the catalyst that leads to sort of the revamping of the republic back to its former simplistic glory.
I think it was all from the Olympics. Like, I felt like that brought a lot of people together to be like, what the fuck, man? There's some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, it was it was being flaunted. It wasn't even subtle.
And not only like the wokeness, but like anyone can do anything, and they brought breakdancing in, and like that Australian chick. Did you guys see?
God,
it was so horrible. People are like, no, dude, breakdancing's not happening in the 28 Olympics. They stopped it because it's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, only like 4 years ago, weren't they trying to remove wrestling from the Olympics?
Yeah.
Which is like the original Olympic sport.
I remember in 2013, I had a buddy who had a T-shirt that he made from Artlete, and it was a guy throwing the Olympic rings. He had a body lock on the Olympic rings, and he was throwing them
over the back.
That's sick. That kind of stuff is crazy. But there's no money in it, and I think the reason they would bring breakdancing in is because I bet there was some sort of money to be had. I don't think
money off of breakdancing.
I mean, dude, Red Bull's promoted breakdancing competition. I've gone to breakdancing competitions that are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You see a bunch of little Asian guys spinning on their head like a dreidel. It's pretty fucking cool to some cheese.
Well, that's the crazy thing is like it can be extremely athletic. So when they said it, I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be crazy."
See top of the league, yeah.
And it was not, dude.
Bottom of the barrel,
yeah, dude.
Instead, you got the Spartery on a Saturday night.
No shit,
dude. That lady, you guys saw that video of that lady, right? She was from Australia.
The kangaroo.
Yeah. She majored or she got her doctorate in breakdance studies or something like that.
Yeah, not studies, not fucking abilities. Fuck, dude, that wasn't a fucking physical class.
That was an actual degree that she held?
Yeah, she was supposed to be like
There's crazy.
Enjoy poverty, bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, I think the reality of like what we're allowing to pass, that's what everybody gets a trophy, and that's the fucking problem right there. Shit like that ends up happening. And you truly in your mind think that you fucking belong because you fucking done this or done that. And then I loved it because you get to the biggest stage in the world as far as athletics go and you think like, oh, this is me. And she wasn't joking.
Oh,
she was out there being serious. And
serious.
Then now she gets all this fucking hate mail and people are like, oh, guys, whatever, however the fuck they talk, you should really stop. And it's like, no, fuck you. Like, this is reality.
Right.
You fucked up.
You wanted to be on the world stage.
You wanted to be on the world stage, and you fucking shit the bed because you don't know you don't belong. But you've been told you're good enough your entire fucking life. And when you get some opportunity to, like, connive your way into a situation where you can be on the Olympic stage.
Breakdancing.
You fuck it up. And it's like, that. I wish it was so fucking cut and dry for most facets of life. Yeah. Because people are allowed to fake it and act like they're worth having around, and they don't have to step up on a stage like that and actually like prove their worth. Like that's why I like individual sports. You know, that's why wrestling, football, or not football, but wrestling, jiu-jitsu, any of that kind of stuff, like where you really had to show what you were capable of, like skateboarding, like it's like that kind of shit, like
it's all you.
It's all you. So when you walk out there and like you made it there, well, guess what? Let's see what you got. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
You know? So
but
that happens in all facets in the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
In all facets.
But it also, it highlights the absurdity of certain things. Like, what was the female swimmer that was a male swimmer that beat the fuck out of everyone?
Yeah, and the chick or the dude who won the female boxing at the Olympics this year, right?
I don't quite know about all that. I thought maybe she was a female, but she had gonads.
I wouldn't fuck her.
It's a fucking
I wouldn't do it.
I don't know how. Yeah. But there's people that are born with vaginas that have male gonads, and it's like it's in a weird gray area compared
I think
to
they were making a big deal about his chromosomes because that's how the Olympic body tests.
I can't speak.
This motherfucker has a Y chromosome.
But that's what I mean. Those type of things, like it's being brought to the front line more of like the craziness of certain. The spectacle of the sport is what it's become instead of the appreciation or the understanding of who's the best at this sport. They've turned it into a bit of a circus.
Yeah, it used to be, here are the two best boxers in the world.
Yeah.
And hell yes, let's watch that.
Yeah.
Now it's no.
Yeah. But I think maybe that's a growing pain. Like we had to take all this shit from one side saying all this stuff, but I did feel like this was kind of like everything seems to be an awakening
It's
event, COVID and all, but just like it's following in route, like elections, COVID, the Olympics, and it's like everyone's like, what the fuck is going on?
But it's happening all around the world. So there is our fucking next door neighbor going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because
Are we just are we in the Spider-Man Spider-Verse that got flipped upside down?
Yeah, everyone's pointing at
Did we get in the wrong one? God damn it.
dude, well, I mean, it seems to me like everybody has an issue with this stuff. They have an issue. They're like, what the fuck is going on?
It's
like
perpetuating itself over and over and over again. So there must be somebody supporting it.
I think there are.
Oh, there's
I think
people
there are.
supporting
Yeah, and they're on that side and we're on this side. And like you said, I mean, it just happens to be like,
But I don't feel
they might be our neighbor, but the neighbor, because of social media and the connectivity we have, we know that there's probably people in Australia that are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You made us look like dumbasses. And then there's people, all over the world that feel the same way. So it's like the fact that we know that and can see that, and then you see all the crazy riots that are happening all over the world, if they are indeed happening, I think people are just getting sick and tired of what's going on, but it's happening on a global level. It's not just the U.S. that's going through this crazy shit. So it's like, it's not just the growing pains of the U.S. It's like,
no, it's culture, the world.
It's like a mass upheaval of humanity.
Yeah.
Does this mean, so do you think a new world culture is emerging?
Yeah, I've
like
been
a
saying this
complete
since the beginning, but this is as culture and communication. You see kind of just what the norms are. You see how like governments institute rules or what they say are morals, or this is the right way to be a British or an Australian or an American or a Mexican. But then through like social media, you just get to see how people are, and most people are like you and me, and they have a family, and they want what's moral or fair for the people around them. But most of this stuff seems to be coming top down, not from the bottom up.
Yes.
And that's the big
It's
difference.
coming from this push for authoritarianism.
Yeah.
And a global control state, or at least a Western world control state.
And as more life is being shown through individual eyes, not through commercial eyes, I think that's why you see more of these riots and these pushback, is because the pushback is from the grassroots, the bottom up, whereas the narrative is being driven from the top down. But that's what I said last episode as to like, that's a free market, and that's culture versus like fake news narratives. The narratives have always been able to be easily pushed because the people in power have the most ability. But for once in our lifetime, we're seeing where the people have the ability to speak up through culture, and that becomes more of the voice compared to
Creates
the
turbulence.
megaphone being yelled at you. Do this. This is what's right.
these fucking people.
What you got there?
No, my nephew is getting into hunting. So we're going to try and get him a shotgun. And I've been thinking about it. Sorry to completely sidetrack this conversation.
Were you literally over here shopping shotguns on your phone?
No, I was shopping fucking 4 grips.
I just have.
Jesus Christ.
Today was so nice being a little overcast. I had to go to Mount Vernon this morning to pick up
Dude,
some
what
graphics.
the fuck? It's August 20th and 21st, and it's like winter now.
Yeah. It'll come back.
Have you looked at the 10-day forecast?
Yeah.
I don't think summer's coming back.
It's coming back a little bit.
I hope so.
But
A fucking
having
groundhog saw a shadow or something.
a little gray and like driving up to fucking Mount Vernon, going past the flats, seeing things turn just a little bit of color. Duck hunting season
It's upon us.
Oh, dude, October 15th. And Tobin lives so close. He doesn't even realize.
He doesn't understand how much we're going to be over there. He's like, oh, you want to start doing this at your house? Perfect.
Zach's going to feel me snuggle up in bed behind him in a pair of waders.
In the Zach cave.
Yeah. The Zach.
Don't worry.
Couple decoys pulled behind you.
It's all good, buddy.
I don't know.
Shoot him.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this fall for some reason.
I am too.
Yeah.
I was a little.
We need to nail down dates, but not on the show. But we need to figure that out like real soon.
This is going to be a fun one because archery elk and rifle deer are like days apart almost.
Are they?
October 15th for rifle deer. Yeah. I'm putting
Well, boys.
CL in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
That could be a rough one to get through. Although that might hit the sweet spot right where I'm between projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna.
I don't think
It's gonna.
We're all gonna be between projects. Yeah. Yeah. Let's.
I got monkeypox.
Until next spring. We'll see you later, Shovel.
COVID's been a motherfucker. Let me tell you, work.
The dates are gonna be different though.
Different how? From last year, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
October 5th.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool.
But
I'm scared to go where we're going because that's where rain and stuff starts.
Oh,
to
it
happen.
rains hard.
I thought about that when you sent me the
Hard.
Yeah. And I was like,
Whoa, what edit?
oh.
Yeah,
Edit. What
timestamp.
time?
Yeah, nobody else hunts elk out there.
I'm not joking.
All right.
Timestamp that shit. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty special fucking spot.
All right. Someone's gonna put a tracker on your truck.
They might. They might. They have.
It's gonna be me.
Lost train of thought, per usual. Let's
Tea break?
Hit pause. Yeah.
Hey, break.
Oh man,
Dude.
and that's why pistachios are my favorite nut. You know what I mean? It's the best.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. I get home the other day and fucking Chandra, she's like, the neighbors are asking to buy our chicken coop because
There's nothing in it.
Exactly.
It looks so good.
It looks great, and they're like, "That's awesome. Can we buy it?" And I was like, "No way."
No.
I got your chickens brewing in there, dude.
I know.
They're,
Yeah, it was just hilarious
Oh,
because
you got them incubating right now?
I've got babies ready to go.
Oh, nice.
I also
put
have
one in
a
your
bun-
pocket, dude.
Hang on. Let's talk about this though.
That's called a chicken
I have
nugget.
a lot of males, and I've been thinking, how do I get rid of these? Do I call up? Do I
The
put
hammer.
it? No, but so normally in the past, I put them online, and a bunch of Mexican guys meet me in the parking lot of Walmart up the street here.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, Mexican guys love getting roosters. I've never had a problem getting rid of chickens.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
It's not going to end up in a bloody mess or something.
But no, so it's like, okay, I do that. That's what I've done in the past for years and years when I get roosters. Or if I have a friend that has a bunch of like females and they're like, I'm letting them start to wander. I need a protector of the group, someone to oversee the flock to help hold them together. But I'm thinking like you have Watson and I have live birds that are kind of big. And Jordan, maybe we do a little bit of training with some of my, yeah, dude. I mean,
chicken
seriously though, you're trying to teach them how to sniff things out. I have maybe 12 roosters. Dude, let's just take
Dizzy
a
one
day
up and
out.
fucking
No, I'll
drag
put
it
them
around.
all in a box. Let's take a day, take your dog out into a field and stuff, and we slow release them. They're gonna die anyways. Let's be honest. And it goes towards
I don't know that we
want
want to admit that though, because
Why?
No, he means
'Cause
of
it's
old
e-
age.
'cause it's
of
illegal.
old age.
no, I'm talking about taking
Oh,
chickens
releasing
and
them into
releasing them at all
to a
is
wetland.
Very illegal.
No, not into a wetland, into our field.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, we could do
Yeah,
that. For sure.
we have acreage here.
Yeah.
Go over to Dan's house. He's got 20 acres.
Oh, perfect.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like it's a teaching moment, and that's a hard thing to get is to teach a dog how to flush real birds. Normally they'll use like mechanical thing, you know what I mean, or like a box with a string in it where it rattles. And we have live bird, and you have a very good lineage hunting dog. I would be willing to give up a ton of roosters because this
good
hurts
call.
my heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the stuff that I did with Watson was like through NAVDA. which is the National Versatile Hunting Dog Association. And like leading up to it, what's that?
This is Mike Da.
Yeah,
Mike Da.
But I mean, I don't see why we couldn't.
What's
do
the
some
difference?
tracking with it.
Yeah.
Just if you have chickens don't fly.
No, but they still have.
So this is the
Well,
difference.
actually, they do.
Is if you
Send enough dogs.
would a chicken run or would a chicken fly?
Both.
Okay, so would it hold in one spot or would it run away?
They do. I mean, it's
I've
just
never,
a bird. Birds kind of. If you have I've hunted turkeys and I've had them fly off. I've hunted turkeys and I've had them like post up in a hole until you step on top of them like a grouse and they go shooting off.
So there's a couple things.
I just think it's life training, right?
Well, it is in a certain way, but if that particular bird doesn't react the way like
we have 14 other.
Well, a pheasant, a released pheasant, they hold pretty tight, and wild pheasant, they flush with a little farther
like
out,
a wild
right?
elk, yeah.
They're a little bit more turned on, and you want your dog to have access to stuff that is more realistic, unless you just plan on hunting pen raised stuff, right? Whereas if you have a bird that will hold until you're right up on it, and your dog can go run up and then slow down, in a wild setting, the dog will run up thinking he's going to be able to hold the bird, and the bird will fucking flush. And now you're 100 yards away from a bird that's flying away, and you're like, well, shit, my dog needs to get back here. So you want, there's a certain... The dogs will learn by doing, right? And if the dog is learning by trying to hold point on a chicken that doesn't act the same as a pheasant, then there's going to be a problem with it. Where if you wanted to work on tracking and just drag a chicken around a field or let them just loose and have the dog, track. Yeah. That's one thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then you just have some chicken at the end and just here you go,
Yeah, we have chicken at the end. But I just think it's good experience.
It is, but it isn't, because it will get bad habits. And that's where you end up with a dog that fucking charges in on birds and flushes them, or the dog that won't hold point and he'll chase in on birds and flush them on accident.
What do you take them for hunting mainly?
Pheasant.
What do they do? Do they hold or do they flush?
They hold, yeah. And Spinoni.
What do chickens do?
Right? I have no goddamn clue.
That's what I'm trying. Yeah, so we got to see.
I mean, we could. I have no problem doing an experiment with Watson and a chicken, or Rory and a chicken for that matter. But
actually, we should do all the dogs.
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, out to a field one day.
If you got enough chickens, we'll see what each dog can do.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
we'll see what these fuckers can really do. Rory got kicked off a farm for killing too many chickens. So if you ever want to thin the herd, let me know. She'd love it.
Give me 3 weeks.
Yeah. But no. So with upland dogs, there's a few different thought processes. There's field trial dogs that are really people are up on horses and the dog will run fucking a mile away, not really a mile, but some might, and they go and they find a bird and they point the bird and they hold the bird there. Then the guy runs up or rides up on the horse, gets off, the bird flushes, they shoot the bird, boom, right? That's not what I'm into. I'm walking. And I want a dog to hunt as close to me as possible.
Yeah.
I have the Spinoni. People think they're fucking shit dogs because they're super, super slow. Which that's what I wanted. I wanted a dog that
was slow. Yeah.
Was slow as shit, right?
Yeah.
But they have pretty freaking good noses, and I've seen them do pretty good as well.
Do most upland birds hold rather than flush and flee? Because most upland birds are more kind of a runner.
I think most of them will fly off. There's not many that.
Grouse, of course.
A grouse will fly.
Yeah, but
they all
mainly
fly.
grouse will hold until you get so close to them.
Yeah,
and then its last
they're
resort
fucking gone,
is fly.
yeah.
Kind of,
but they're flying through the woods.
Yeah,
Whereas,
yeah.
like, I mean, the amount I've shot more grouse just like on the ground.
Yes,
like in a hunting scenario without a dog than almost any other bird because you run into them so much. But as far as like
first
like
animal
the upland stuff, like quail and fucking what am I thinking?
dove or something.
Pheasant.
No, well, pheasant, but no, the partridge. What's the partridge? I'm spacing out on them. They're blue and white and black. Golly, somebody's probably like, you dumb fuck. Whatever. There's another bird that they're up in rocky shit, mostly in Eastern Washington.
Quail?
Ptarmigan?
No, it's not going to come to me. And I've trained Watson with I've trained Watson with him, and like he would just that was one of the first birds here like I could find around that somebody was like, oh, we have some of these, and it's great. And they're a game bird that are in Washington, so I'll use that and drag it around the yard and let him track it, and it was fun as shit when he was a puppy. But most of the birds will hold a certain bit, but then they end up flushing and taking off.
It sounds a lot like a chicken.
You want the dog to go up. Like, this is what I'd love to have Watson do. Watson goes on point, holds. He holds the bird because the bird gets scared, and that's what's holding the bird there from flushing is the dog being right there, and the bird's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. And now I get a walk up, and I flush the bird. That is the ideal situation, right? Or having another trained dog that can go flush the bird.
Yeah.
I'm not that level, right? But if you could have, like, Watson hold the bird, I go flush the bird, Watson stays, there's steady to flush, steady to wing, and steady to fall. Or, yeah, I think those are the three, or steady to release. Where it's like the dog holds, and then when the bird flushes, the dog's running after the bird. And then you have to shoot over the top of your dog running after this bird.
That's fine.
Or the dog gets released on the sound of your gun. So, like, all of a sudden you'll shoot, boom, and then the dog will take off and go for the bird. Or you flush, you shoot, the dog's still waiting, the bird lands, and then you tell the dog, go.
Yeah.
And then that's like the ideal situation.
I feel
but there's a lot of fucking training.
You could get a lot of training out of these chickens, though. I feel like no matter what it's doing,
trying to get these fucking chickens gone.
But it's doing the same thing. You know, a chicken, you run up on it and they freeze too, and then you get way close, and that's when they'll start to run.
I haven't spent as much time around chickens as you, dude. The intricacies of this.
I'll set up a course like Rifleman.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Dude. Maybe we take them up there.
No. There you go.
That's actually
hang on, don't say that out loud.
To private property for dog training. I think that would be.
Oh, with the dogs. I thought you meant to shoot them with rifles. I was like, no.
Fuck it. Yeah, screw the dogs. Actually, that's a pull.
Boom.
Yeah. No,
get our t-shirt cannon out there.
I think this would be good for your dog. Plus, you got some chickens going home with you.
Yeah. No, I mean, Watson's been.
I've just never wanted to. I'm not at a point in my life where it's like, I've hunted with guys duck hunting with dogs. I've never done upland bird, but I have done duck hunting where it's like, God damn, this dog makes this entire duck hunting. Like, normally I'm out there waiting around and looking for stuff. This dog is a game changer. And I've just never had a dog that's for this or put in the effort. And I'm not in a point in my life where I can dedicate that to it. But I think there's something very cool about having dogs that are bred or in their genes to do that.
Dude, I've seen going on the NAFTA things. Like, I just did the NA test with Watson, which is the natural ability test.
Okay.
So we went out to Idaho, Sunny Valley. Anyway, we went out to Idaho.
Is that like Sun Valley?
Sun Valley. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Sun Valley. It was something else. But we get out there and I think there was like maybe 30 dogs or 40 dogs over the 2 days. And so what that test is for puppies. I think it's a year and a half and under they have to be. Or maybe it's 12 months. And I can't remember right off the top of my head. But basically it's supposed to be what a dog's natural ability is and their inclination to like hunting. And like, so you go and you do a tracking or you go on a field search, right? So they go and plant birds in a field and you release your dog. What does the dog do, right? A lot of the dogs will kind of wonder what the fuck's going on at first, but most of them have an idea. We're out here and we're going to hunt. And that's what the dog's in a field. And so instantly you put a dog on a hunting dog on grass in a field and they're fucking looking to kill something. Yeah. Right. And so they'll start searching and the good ones will go back and forth and kind of start making a little bit of a track. And then once they get wind or scent on the wind, they'll kind of key in on it and they'll go and they'll point a bird. And so with that, you point the bird will flush, the guy shoots it, the dog goes and grabs the bird, ideally brings it back to you, and that's kind of showing like it wants to hunt and it's willing to work with you. Yeah. So if it picks up the bird and runs around with it and all that and kind of like ends up coming up to you, like, good job. Like that's all we wanted to see. And I mean, there might be other nuances to it that I'm missing as far as the judging goes, but that's kind of, I think they're looking more for a dog that is eager to be out there and hunt and is willing to work with you and is like minding like the fact that you're part of this whole situation.
Yeah. You're looking for what performs for what you want to do.
So I mean, Watson went out, found the bird flew off, guy shoots it, he grabs it, kind of runs around with it and is excited to have it, but it wants to keep it away. So then it was like this fucking like whole like game of trying to get him to bring it to me. And he didn't just walk right up to me and like give me the bird, which is what it is. But the guy was like, oh no, I mean, that's kind of what we want to see. The rest of it is, you got to train that a little bit.
Isn't it weird? You talk about it with animals and you're like, look at that. That's good genes and breeding. But you talk about it with people and they're like, that's fucking eugenics. I mean, but that's what it is like, imagine you find a bunch of people that are really good at math and you're like, hey, let's have these people like have kids.
What do you have against Asians?
Let's just be honest of who are the best at math. But that's what it is. And it's like, what is that? There are like Greg is our guru at jiu-jitsu, right? And he has daughters. And say maybe his daughters are naturally inclined to be better at jiu-jitsu. They have that epigenetic, that lineage of them that understands it. Like having hunting dogs that for years and years, this is the best hunter of this dog breed, and we took the best dog and we bred that. And then we found the best of that and we bred it. But it's like, when you say it's people, it's called eugenics, but it's like, well, maybe there is something that gets passed on all the time.
Absolutely.
And I think it's, it's interesting to talk about the similarities. It's like,
genetics are without question being passed down like in human. That I have no fucking doubt that breeding dogs and breeding humans, if that was different. It's not different at all. Yes. With anything, it doesn't matter. Like if you were to say like, okay, like if we were going to try and breed somebody who had night vision, right? Like you just slowly like people who can see a little bit better at night, and you just would test like, oh, this person and this person can see better at night, so we're gonna have them breed. Like all of a sudden, over time, you're going to find some fucking weird shit where somebody's got like cat-like eyes and can see it.
That was in your book though too. What was your book about the different animals? Like the strengths, like. And remember the ocular the immense world about the eyes, and certain things can see in the what's the red tone of light? Ultraviolet,
infrared,
either
and
ultraviolet.
below red or above violet.
Yes, but there was above it where it's like there's all kinds of things that are processed in this world through ultraviolet light, but only
bees
one
can see UV light.
percent of 1% can see them in humans. And it's like, well, what if you got those people to keep staying in a lineage where they kept breeding?
I think you would just have
create
to,
a super soldier. Good movie with Van Damme.
Yeah, I think having like litters helps because you obviously can select. You have, one litter might have one or two might have this trait, and then you find the other litters over here that you're breeding, and then mix the pairs. But which is obviously like crazy hard in humans, just because of what we were talking about. I think last week with the gestation.
Yeah. I think
being
the
so
amount
long.
you have and the time it takes is it's a huge factor.
Yeah, we're like a dog.
And I just remember, I think I was talking about shrimp or something, how you could raise them, some crazy thing. But I saw a video of a guy that has a pet alligator. Like he raised it from a baby that came from other baby alligators raised by hand and other.
Betty White and Lake Placid.
He pets it and it moans like a dog weeps. This alligator does the same thing.
That's creepy.
Are you kidding me?
That's creepy, dude. You imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I think a cougar, I think I've said it before, a cougar would be the coolest pet to have.
Oh, 100%.
Fuck that, dude.
It would be terrifying. It would
That'd
be
be the
awesome.
scariest fucking dude. Could
You
imagine-
always
could
be
you
looking
imagine
at that
going
thing
in there
wondering,
and
like,
getting
he's
bit
thinking
by
about
Yeah.
killing me right now.
Oh yeah, that's all they think, dude. Did I ever tell you about the?
What would you take? A cougar? If you had a cougar
I worked.
or a wolf, what would you take?
Wolf.
I'd want a wolf, but don't get me wrong.
Due to the
if it was-
connection that dogs have with people,
Well, they
or
wanna
due to
be-
the performance that animal has?
Connection.
It's the same connection.
connection. Oh, if it's the same,
The same connection?
if it's-
Cougars still
if it's
connect
same
like a dog.
Either way.
I have cats that
what-
love
hang on.
me.
Okay, God.
Oh.
That cat would eat your butthole.
Yeah.
With,
Why do you think
if
I
you
have?
die, dude? Like, you're starting with the softest fucking skin first. Yeah, dude. Fuck that.
If you had a good
If
relationship,
you could choose,
No, hang on. Cats are solo animals, and wolves are pack animals, and they will adapt to your family. We had a half wolf growing up, and she adapted into the family to where, in her mind, she was, or really in our mind too, she was part of the family.
yeah.
A cat doesn't do that.
yeah, but Mike Tyson had tigers.
So fucking
the
what?
fuck?
Yeah, but they
Does he
thought of
still
him.
have them? Does he still have
yeah.
those tigers? Fuck no, he
He's
doesn't.
still- yeah.
That's the thing. Like, cats are. I just anybody playing with cats is bound to get fucking got. That's it. Period. If that wasn't the
But-
case, if it was just an abilities, like how cool would it be to have an animal that like?
Oh, to
minds-
have
Do you
a cougar
think
would be
there's a
amazing.
difference through what makes the animal itself, or do you think it's through like a house kitten and a cougar, like through years and years and years of selective breeding and making it docile? That's what creates that amicable relationship. My cats love me.
Your cats would kill you if they were 100 pounds heavier.
If your cats missed a couple meals, you'd be fucking that'd be it. But a dog would never, and then they'd cry in your grave. like,
Sit there and howl.
that's the thing. Like, dogs have such a
But then how do you
relationship.
get that alligator to love its human?
You don't, and it's
don't.
bullshit.
But why does it want petting and want
dude,
and
it doesn't. It
coos?
wants to eat.
It
wants to
does,
eat.
but
Dude,
it's like
one
It
fucking
probably
alligator-
knows it's going to get a goat later if it makes
No
some fucking
shit.
noises.
There's something going on.
I make some noises for this motherfucker later on. He'll toss a couple rabbits in my pen.
that's not actually a bad argument. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I don't think that's. I think what we're seeing, we're being fucking bamboozled by that. I don't think it's fucking real. But a dog, dogs have hundreds and thousands of generations of dogs have been with humans.
But you
Not
can-
hundreds of thousands. Maybe. I don't
yeah.
know. But
If man and dog have been around, like when did wolf go
Wolf
to
started following people.
100,000?
Like,
But when though?
I have probably the
That's
fucking
what I'm
Neanderthals,
asking.
right?
Well, hang on.
Back
Nobody
when-
actually knows.
When
There's,
humans started hunting, I do know. for a fact. And
Beastmaster. Over here.
take this
The real Kevin
for
Sorbo.
everything it's worth. The way I heard it was that wolves started following like hunter bands of humans,
throwing
and they would
away waste.
Yeah, and they'd do that, and then once they kind of started to like
Domesticate them.
yeah, exactly. They started to domesticate them, and then next
Well,
thing
I
you know,
think also like an important part of that is the humans
Started eating meat
realized the value of having this little circle of wolves sort of just outside the firelight, hoping for handouts, and it created like an outer perimeter.
But you have to think that's a weird relationship to be like, this has
it's
been
very
my
uneasy at
enemy
first.
for
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
long, and now
Oh,
all of a
yes.
sudden.
Both
I
sides are
think-
sleeping with one eye open until
it
they
makes me
learn to have sort of like that.
Is it just a natural thing, or it's like you capture a wolf and you breed it and you breed it? Like, I think
I don't think they were like-
caveman were like the circus lords back in the day. That's like, I'm going to capture this bear. I'm going to capture this dog.
I don't think
That's
they
what
were-
selective breeding is
but I don't
you're
think that's what
controlling
their
their
thought
environment.
process was. I think what it ended up being was these wolves are fucking
But we
wild.
did it to horses.
Hold up. I think these wolves were wild.
Slow down, everybody! You're getting too excited.
Fucking
Always excited.
the wolves were wild, and they were following people.
Yeah.
Then the people, when the wolves were following people because of the waste, and then when the people started handing out, like, I think there was probably some like cross of like, okay, these wolves are getting closer, and now these wolves have been doing this for a year, and now the next breeding cycle has happened. So now the people, like, as the longer they did it, the more comfortable the wolves got with the people.
Generation.
And then as the next generation came, the next generation was like, oh, this is just a way of life. My entire life has been around.
And now
this
I have neighbors who put their dog in a stroller and walk it down the street.
But
and they carry a
that
little green.
same mentality,
100%.
But that same mentality, it's like there would have been things that are easier to domesticate before the wolf.
I don't know,
It would have
dude.
been rats and raccoons and shit that followed your hunting bands around.
I don't know that
People
those were
selected
following
the
like that,
dogs
though.
because they saw there was
What
there
was
was
following
structure,
hunting?
there was hierarchy.
What was bullshit. Bullshit. No,
Yeah.
fucking wolves traveled in packs.
Yeah.
And they moved like humans did.
Yeah.
With the same, like, a fucking raccoon's
But
not
we-
going to follow you 50 miles. A raccoon's not going to do that. But a wolf pack would, I would imagine.
But
If you're leaving a bunch of shit behind you, they're going
But
to follow.
then, so think of it. We didn't just be like, oh, they came in and we brought them. Look at the way humans domesticated horses. They had to capture them, break them, and have them. I think
that
people
was-
captured
that was-
and broke wolves. It wasn't just like, oh, they're following us. Yes, they're close to us because we have scraps, but I think it was humans capturing them.
It seems like it would have been
taking
much
them in.
easier than capturing them to wait until like a mother
think-
wolf dies with a young litter, and then you just kind of
I think
snag the cubs.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
still going to have a little bit of wild
tendencies.
tendencies. But that's
like a
how you
horse.
start the first generation
But
of
that,
trust.
that's really what it ends up coming down to is like,
I don't think-
they don't have to be captured.
I'm envisioning them lassoing wolves out on the prairie.
yeah,
Like,
fucking building traps for them.
brand them.
No, no, I think they were like that. Their capture was the fact that they were keeping them around because of their waste. So like the capture was the fact that they were like baiting them constantly, and they
Yeah.
were realizing that these people are creating some sort of a food source.
Yeah.
Or they're stealing it, and they, at that point they're fighting, and there's probably a bunch of that too. But I don't know.
But then
Obviously, nobody was around for when they decided to go, hey, you know what? We're going to start using these as tools.
Don't
But
they think
there's definitely security in having a wolf at the front of a cave?
Don't they think certain Neanderthals and cavemen use dogs and
Yeah.
wolves to take down
Yeah.
woolly mammoths?
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's some good woolly. Have you read any woolly mammoth books?
I haven't.
Even some of the guys that believe in overkill hypothesis, they still have to look at what is the archaeological, like the things found in the ground for societies. What the fuck's that guy's name? Peter.
Frampton.
That
You feel like I do.
sounds like Dr. Evil. But actually, some of those, mammoth hunting societies, which are, I think, a lot found in Canada from the things I've read, are very interesting. It just the way they viewed like life on the run, but what the mammoth was. Like the mammoth was promotions at our gym. Like the mammoth was everything. And the beads that came from it, and like to have marks and scars, it seemed like was popular. To have children of mammoth hunters was big. There were certain kings or like leaders of clubs that were buried with their children that had broken bones too. And it's like, were these kids killed on the hunt? Was the hunt itself the only thing? Like
That's all humans did was just follow the herd.
yeah. But there's a couple good. Twilight of the Mammoth was a good book, but it's hard to find things that talk about the culture of the people.
It's all speculation. That's why. I mean, let's be honest. It's
kind
all
of,
speculation.
but some people have better speculations than others. So take it all in.
But you're gonna find like something that you agree with and like you end up liking, right? But it's all fucking speculation.
Do you think you would be a hunter back in the day?
I don't think you have a choice.
I mean, if you were going to survive, I think you would.
I'd be a berry picker. Let's be honest, girls.
You either got to be a hunter, a gatherer, or a fisherman.
What's that?
Fuck,
Jack in the
dude.
Black.
Being a fisherman, like hunting the coast, might be back in the day. I might have taken that over hunting, or I might still take that.
Human populations have always gathered at the coasts because that's where the most resources are.
Well, that's because
But
where
I
the land
love
is
fishing.
and we can't fucking breathe underwater.
Yeah.
But
And we don't realize, why would I go back from where I came?
But I might love fishing in water more than I love actual hunting. Like as much as I love bugling and getting close to
Fishing in water.
Yeah.
In water.
Yeah.
Okay. Just clear
Not
that
out
up.
of water. Maybe. But there's something about, and especially saltwater, there's something fun. Just the fish are bigger, they're stronger. Fishing to me is an inherent, like, no matter the shittiest of lake, or if I'm using a bobber and a worm, I get as excited having a fish hit my line as I do like in the woods, and it's like, oh my God, there's 3 elk like 50 feet in front of me. It's like, yeah, but I have this thing on my pole, like, in the feedback is immediate.
I think that if you lived in the Puget Sound 500 years ago and knew how to fish,
We are two different things. I guess I would have been
me?
hunting then if that's the case. Dude, there is no fucking trout in the world who has made me fucking feel the way an elk has.
But it's the same feeling to me.
It might for a brief moment, but I'll tell you what, the work that has been put in to get to the elk is a hell of a lot different than it was to toss your line in that water, in my opinion. I don't think there's the same greater work for greater pay, and that's what I think hunting ungulates are versus going fishing. And hey, I've never gone like deep sea fishing and, caught a marlin or any crazy shit like that.
Same.
But I mean, I'm sure like there's certain things that, and don't get me wrong, I get a fucking rush from catching it, but it's more of a,
It's all that reward.
I don't start shaking. I get like, it's not like a high. It's like I'm happy.
it's fun.
Yes, this was great.
Yeah.
It's like watching a baseball game. Haha.
Do you have any
Versus-
inclination to catch a big shark? For some reason, I want to catch a great white.
What?
Yeah.
Do I? Of course.
Yeah. Doesn't that sound
Are you kidding
fun,
me? Dude, all of it sounds fun.
Yeah.
I want to spearfish for tuna.
Dude.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love it.
That shit where you dive off the helicopter onto its back and stab it.
A tuna?
I think it's swordfish that they do that shit too.
What?
Are you serious? You guys have never seen this down in
No,
like the
from a
Gulf
helicopter?
of Gulf of Mexico?
From a helicopter?
Yes.
Holy
They've got like
shit.
the camo wetsuit on, and they dive off the skids of a helicopter.
Who the fuck is
with their
doing this?
fucking
Travis
spear.
Pastrana?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking. God damn, that's badass.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do some Googling.
Well, I mean,
I'm such a pussy.
let's
Such
try
a pussy.
let's try and
I've
work
done nothing with my life.
let's try and work our ends. Guns and Geese ended. We had our good friend Josh Dukes.
Oh,
Did we not?
Oh, yeah. He and I like that dude. We hit it off.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy.
And we're going to do a little bit of trading. I think next year he's going to bring his boys to rifleman camp, and I'm going to take Nathan.
Whoa.
Do some.
I'm your boy.
My
I'm
boys.
your boy. Dad.
I'm going to bring all my sons.
Yeah, Dad, come on, Dad.
Papa.
Yeah.
These two are kind of retarded,
The most.
That's okay.
but I love them anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
the same.
but there was something like I was teaching, maybe it was like 2020 or something like that, and that guy came, and there was something about him, and I remember calling Greg and texting him, I'm like, dude, just come to he came to an evening class when Greg wasn't teaching, and I was like, dude, you have to come to morning class and meet this guy. And it's fun, like that guy's lives in his own adventure world.
Yes, he does.
And like I could just feel that presence, and he felt a little bit from me maybe, and we ended up we'd finished class and talked for like maybe an hour and a half after class. But it's fun when you get people like that have that same kind of bite. Like he's fishing, he's hunting axis deer, he's living in that same world. But I think there's something like you find these same people, just the way, like, I bet you that guy, if he had what's your dog, Jordan?
Spinoni.
A Spinoni. And I was like, I got a bunch of chickens. He'd be like, well, let's see how they react to these. You know what I mean? But there's something fun about that where people want that, like that pursuit, that rush. And just the way I was saying, it's like for me, like even fishing, like those same type of things. Like you're saying, jumping off a helicopter, you're just going in with a wetsuit and swimming down with a snorkel and some flip-flops. You're still kind of chasing that same feeling of pursuing something that you're not in its environment, but you're trying to get a one-up on something. And I think whether it's through animals or through the environment you're in, it's fun to find people that find a little, like that hunter, that mammoth hunter, that lust, that want of catching that fish, of killing that mammoth. There's something fun in finding people that are fucked up that want to kill something.
Well, it's just, I feel like the ancestors and shit did that because it was like a promise of another day. You know what I mean? Like that's
survival.
What it did.
Yeah,
right. It was
yeah.
And the gratitude that came from getting something down was probably like, thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Like we have food. I don't think that's lost on us. When you get something, like when you get an animal down, it's like, holy shit. Whether it's a fish that you know you're going to eat, which the whole catch and release of fish thing fucks me up.
So
like,
stupid.
I don't get it.
They all die anyways.
I don't
for
get
the
it.
most part.
But it just like that whole thing. I think that's what you're feeling in your gut when you fucking actually hook into a fish or an animal or whatever, and like having that
the
moment.
same reward.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think you're like, I did it. Like, yes.
Oh, thank God
this.
we're gonna survive for another week.
But that's not how I don't think mentally you internalize it that way. But I think it's like the same. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like accomplishment. Yes.
Yeah.
And that pursuit as well. You know.
Yeah.
Kind of it all ties in there.
And it makes me wonder, is there a similar thing to like doing like the shooting, like the rifleman, or to have a protector, or to do the things of like even a prepping? Are all these kind of things one in the same?
I think
it's just a different avenue, but they're still the same reward mechanism.
I think that like especially the group of guys like we've kind of all gravitated towards.
Yeah.
I think that there is a lot of like trying to tap into like a deeper I don't want to say like ancestral
but maybe
thing,
deeper
but
is the word.
Something
that connects humans.
whether it's shooting a gun, like why are we out there shooting guns? Well, it's cool to do, but if something happens, I want to know how to use this thing because that is how we fight today.
Yeah.
Period. Like that, I want to be able to be a protector. And when you have to work to be a protector, you're not just born and are, right? Very rarely. But when the advent of guns came around, nobody was born and was just a fucking protector anymore.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to be proficient at the tools of the trade, right? Because that's just where we're at in the world now. So I think that's why it's important for people to train, because that's really where they're getting that. But then it's the same for being prepared for disaster, knowing to have gas in your truck when you're getting low, or before you get low, have gas in your truck. All the things that are just like little things to keep you out of harm's way is important. That's part of being a protector. And then gathering and fishing or gardening, or all those things that provide the fuel for the next day, I think is kind of where we're at.
I don't even think it's necessarily like the protector. Like, I think that's maybe the same reason that guys like bowling or golf or basketball, like the ability, like that's why I think I haven't done a shit ton of long distance shooting, but why do I find shooting fun or archery fun? And it's like, I'm trying to put this one thing through one hole every fucking single time. And I think that's an inherent trait of men, of like becoming better, is the proficiency of doing something that's even so monotonous, of shooting an arrow out of your bow. But when you are so confident and dialed in that you can get it in the same hole every time, it's like that
Sometimes you can't.
But I think that's the same reward system. That's the same exact reward system that hits on all of this. Like, call it hunting, call it fishing, call it gardening. What you're doing is to replicate outcome every fucking time in what you want, as what you see as achieving a goal. And I think there's something lost in people. I think that's why we find jiu-jitsu fun, is because we are fundamentally doing the same move. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But to get good at jiu-jitsu, you have to do the same thing over and over and over and over. But you're expecting
to get a desired result.
Yes, but you're doing the same thing. You're not changing it. You're learning how your body's influencing this moment. You have to learn how you're affecting this. And I think that's a human hunter masculine trait that's lost. That art
I don't
of
think
honing.
it's lost. I think it's changed. I think
You don't think it's lost?
No, I not at all. Because I think there's a
But
fuck ton of golfers.
my pronouns though.
No,
when you
but
have pronouns, you're lost
it's
as to
changed.
hitting one goal.
You're
You're hitting every goal.
What are we talking? What? We're talking about being proficient at something
Yes.
to such a high degree. And that's what I was trying to say before. Is like I'm saying what it looks like to kill the freaking whatever, the mammoth, right?
Yeah.
That's the same pursuit in your heart. Like that's the same thing. Like when people are, I think that when people are going out and falling in love with something that's just like, this is just the same bullshit, jiu-jitsu or the golf or bowling, like you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like you were saying, they're doing something over and over and over to get proficient and really hone in. And that's what people had to do with throwing a spear over and over and over and over and over to get proficient, to be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I think like there's probably something in that. And I see, not to say that women don't do the same thing, but I think that
Just
is a little
humans.
bit,
Yeah.
I think there's probably a little bit more masculine energy in
yes.
that, which is fine because that's what the fuck it is, right? I think sports in general, right, have a little bit of that in them, competitiveness. But I think that is what we're lacking, and this is how it's coming out in the world now. As fucking,
I like
we're
that.
lacking it, and this is how it's transitioned into. Not everybody's out hunting mammoths because there are no fucking mammoths, and factory farming is aplenty.
Yeah.
We're doing just fine. We're eating. Whereas,
Do you think that's what leads to all these mental health issues? Is everybody's sort of listless, like they're sitting around their apartment, they're looking,
I think the people who don't have outlet for it, absolutely
no challenge, no.
Yeah, but I mean, some people find it in fucking video games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Do
people.
they though, or does
Yeah,
that
but
just
they're
lead them
never
into
going to
an
be as
unhealthy,
rewarded
unhappy-
as us on a mountaintop.
At the end of
I've
the day,
played
they're
video
playing
games.
video games trying to replicate
Yeah.
the things people go do.
Yes,
Yes.
but I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is, when you're using the closest thing to fucking doing it is doing it, right? Like, so the closest thing to feeling that is hunting, and that's why when you fucking go hunting, you feel like a god. You feel like a king. Sometimes you feel like absolute fucking shit, right? Like so, like
But
you go through
like
all
the king of your own shit.
Well, you're going
Yeah.
through all of the emotional roller coaster that is hunting, right? Like you're these ups and downs, and when you're pouring everything you can into it and it doesn't work out, it's like fuck, fuck. But then when it works out, you just get such a high that like, and that I promise you, there is not a kid playing video games that's going to feel that.
No.
Because they don't feel the low.
No.
Right? Like
They feel nothing. Yeah, that's video games. You're going to feel jack and shit.
I disagree. I think it's like
There's not
you
as
got
much
you
of
got
a
to
connection.
you got to have the physical body going through
Struggle.
all the struggle is. I would assume that there's some video games where people are like, oh shit, this was hard. Like this was hard. And it's not going to be it's not going to be at the same level. Like you're not going to be as, I would rather sit down and talk to somebody who has a full hunting experience and like all the story of that than sit down and listen to a guy talk about how he beat a level of Zelda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he might feel the same thing where, oh yeah, this was kind of hard and I did this and did that and I had to go do this. It's not going to be the same.
No.
Right.
Yeah, a guy telling you about playing the video game of 9/11 and a guy living through 9/11 and getting out.
Yeah.
The guy that lived through it's going to be more
What
compelling.
What do they call that video game? What?
Dude, a 9/11 video game might be the thing America needs.
Oh my god! Never forget. That's what it's called.
Number 2. The second tower.
Oh no!
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was just going to say Tower 7.
But yeah, dude. I
Building 7. What do they call that?
Tower 7.
Was it? I think it was Building 7.
Tower?
Tower 7? Oh,
Pretty sure.
That's Tower 1, Tower 2, and I think Building 7.
Maybe I'm
and then
wrong.
didn't something hit the Pentagon?
Cruise missile?
Was that what?
Oh,
it was?
airplane. My bad.
Yeah.
And then there was the one in the field of Pennsylvania that was scattered forever. And they're like, oh, it just ran into the ground. And it's like, why would something that runs into the ground leave like a 5-mile debris trail?
Yeah.
What was that? What was that documentary, Loose Change?
I don't know.
Back in the day, that was the first big in my opinion, that was the first like conspiracy theory.
JFK was the original.
Well, yeah,
That's
yeah,
where the
but like
term came from.
of this new era, like Dick Cheney and the government was in on 9/11. That was the first
Sure got rich off
fake
it.
news. Yeah.
Sure got rich off it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
who knows?
what was that? Halliburton.
Was the first like,
Halliburton had a
Halliburton
no-bid
was
contract.
no bid. Yeah.
Yeah, no
Do you-
competitors.
Do you
no-
remember that one thing where they got paid? They're like, Halliburton got paid $13 million to import sand into there to like for volleyball courts.
Jesus.
And it's like, wait,
Yeah.
isn't Afghanistan and Iraq full of
Made out of
sand?
dust.
Yeah, and they brought it from like some Pacific topsoil out by my house.
Jesus.
So stupid.
$500 shovels.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, that's
What was the first conspiracy that you can remember, like in your lifetime?
the first one I really remember ever.
Sasquatch.
No,
Sasquatch is
guess
real,
if that's
Is that
yeah.
a ghost story or is that a conspiracy?
Yeah.
It's not really a conspiracy because a conspiracy requires two people to conspire.
JFK was
JFK
the one
is the
when,
original.
and I remember when my mom told me about it, and she's like, and he was assassinated. I'm like, oh my God, well, what happened to the guy? And she's like, well, another guy came to his jail and killed him. And I was like,
Suspicious.
wait, what? Like at 8, I'm like, this doesn't add up. Yeah.
Could you imagine Mike at 8? Go fucking fucking questioning.
I just got a boner. Check it out.
What's this?
Yeah.
It took a lot of growing to become the man I am today.
Oh man.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I think mine was probably hearing like 9/11. You know, the 9/11's an inside job thing.
Yeah.
I think that was my first like hearing like mutters, but then also thinking like, oh, that guy's fucking crazy. Like just instantly, like in my head at the time, it was like, oh, that's like so like that guy's
so far
a loony.
Yeah.
That guy's Looney Tunes.
Yep.
And
Now it doesn't
now it's
seem so
like,
far-fetched,
oh, that
does
guy
it?
was pretty fucking spot on. Yeah.
Cheney, dude. Cheney was a weird one.
All of them, the neocons, like they had their war plan for Iraq since like the early 90s.
Yeah. Well, the original Bush took it
so
over.
I'm saying, like since the withdrawal after Desert Storm,
Yeah.
they had been planning to go back and actually oust Saddam. So they were looking for an excuse.
Remember when we were like, when Obama was president and he said we were going to invade Syria, and like everyone in the United States was like, no, we're fucking not. And all of a sudden it stopped like that invasion.
Nope.
No. It felt like the people had kind of been like, wait, what are we doing? And it felt like the military industrial, like the whole complex paused for a second. But then it just got rerouted into different wars. But when Obama was president, there was talks of going into Syria, and
but
it was
the Russians were. It was a little.
They
bit
were
of
there
a,
since
of a
91.
standoff. Yeah.
But that's where they went after the Cold War.
They were
to
also.
test
Yeah, I was
weapons.
just going to say they were also busy running weapons in and out of Libya, running weapons to the cartel in Mexico, and also staging a coup in Ukraine. So he had a lot on his plate at that time.
I'm not going to say this is great, but the coolest thing about seeing the Russians go nuts after the Cold War was the use of thermonuclear bombs, using them in Afghanistan. And there was a couple times they had video.
Hang on. I'm sorry. The Russians never dropped the bomb.
Thermonuclear.
In wartime?
It's not a real nuclear bomb.
Testing.
Oh, okay.
It's not a real nuclear bomb. They're called, I believe they're called
No, thermonuke is a nuclear bomb.
God, what is it called?
Hydrogen bomb.
No. That's even way more worse. There's a type of thermo bomb that they invented that Russians started using during the first occupation of Afghanistan, but then you haven't seen it used ever since, and they started using it in Ukraine again, and it's one of those oxygen eaters where it turns the
thermobaric
thermobaric
or hypobaric or
thermobaric, I believe. I'm sorry,
it's where it sucks all
the
air
oxygen.
It creates like a negative
vacuum.
air pocket and just smashes everything.
It's incredible though to see what they do.
That's scary.
And you see it's a mushroom cloud, just like a regular nuke.
But it's not a nuclear explosion.
Thermobaric. I'm not thermonuclear. My bad.
We are the only country to have ever used nuclear weapons in wartime.
In war.
Two of them.
Yeah, 2 of them. Twice.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Back to back.
And they both worked, which is nuts.
Both went off. Great success.
But it probably doesn't seem like that'll be okay. Well, how about this? I'm going to deviate a little from hunter talk and warrior talk and culture talk. Do you think?
Let's stay on subject.
Okay, good. I think nuclear weapons are going to be used very shortly, but I don't feel like it's going to be their traditional like atomic bomb or a hydrogen bomb. I feel like you're going to see a slow escalation of things like depleted uranium, small arms nuclear weaponry.
Well, that's a
used,
majority
and then
of
it
the
just
nuclear
and then it just keeps
stockpile is
going
that.
up to be like, well, it doesn't even matter. This bridge has already been crossed.
Did you listen to that lady who was on? She was on.
That wrote the nuke book? Yeah, that's a good
she's talking
book.
about like the response times are so fast that doctrine is just to launch everything. Because
But
it's like Russia launched.
Annie Jacobson.
That's what
Annie
it was.
Jacobson.
You
And I read her
7
book.
minutes to,
I read her book, and it's a good book, but she talks about full-on annihilation.
Yes.
I'm saying nuclear war doesn't start with full-on annihilation. It starts
you're
with
talking like
depleted,
tactical nukes.
tactical.
Yeah.
And then it gets bumped up from there. That's how I see this going.
I think if the Ukrainians continue pushing into Russia, we might see that, and then the U.S. and NATO will use that as an excuse to say, oh, look at how awful Russia is, and escalate the war further.
Do you think we would use it first, or you think China, Russia, fucking Iran, North Korea, that triad would use them first?
I think right now Russia is most likely to use them first. And on a side note, it is odd to me that China is sitting dormant right now, because right now is the perfect moment to take Taiwan.
Yeah.
When all the world powers are in complete turmoil. And you don't know who the next American president is. So right now, you have a clusterfuck of an administration that's not going to be able to mount much of a response.
What if
are they? Either they are a complete paper tiger or toothless tiger that we don't need to worry about at all.
I believe that's called origami.
Go ahead, Jordan.
No, I keep going with your.
That was kind of the thought.
Yeah, I think that. China wants to take Taiwan over without question, but
it's left over from the 40s.
What would be the benefit to them doing it right now versus in the middle of a transition of power in this country?
Depends who it's being transitioned to. That's maybe what they're waiting for.
Well, so why did they wait these 4 years? Through a very weak regime,
gaining momentum. Maybe they just other governments.
Yeah. So right now you have
maybe they're just tricking us all.
Yeah. No shit. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's all empty threats.
No, I'm talking about this regime we have. Maybe Biden is a little bit more
secretly
with it.
Dr. Evil.
He's been with it this whole time.
Scott.
He's gonna get to the end of the
Hunter.
Yeah. He's going to stand up like Willy Wonka did, dropped his cane. He's going to do a forward roll and stand up and be like, ha-ha!
He's going to do a forward roll into the grave, not into a press.
He's going to stand back up and be like, I got you, sons of bitches.
He's going to stand up and grab his chest. Fuck! Wonka down. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I think because I never thought a ton of geopolitics. And if you look at the way China viewed America when Trump was president, Xi Jinping rolled out the red carpet for Trump. When Biden took office, we immediately had a summit in, I think it was Anchorage, Alaska, for China in the United States. All China did was call Anthony Blinken in the United States dogs.
Yes.
He's like, you smell like dogs. You guys act like dogs. You're pieces of shit. And it's because they think he's a doddering fool. And I think
I happen to agree with them on that.
Well, they kind of.
Yeah. And I think
maybe
they know, maybe there's an inkling in foreign politics that Trump has a good chance of coming in. And when you have a wild card, you're not going to be pushing it as much. The time to take Taiwan is now, in especially the spring and the summer. The Straits of Taiwan are an area when it becomes fall and winter, you're not going to land ships, not even ships, but carriers with men, like with whitewater and chop. You're going to lose half your guys drowning. It's not going to be an easy invasion.
I don't think this is going to be like a D-Day invasion.
China has to put soldiers on the ground. That's what you have to do.
I don't think they need to like storm a beachhead though. I don't think Taiwan has that organized or that robust of a defense. I think their best chance for a defense is a delayed guerrilla action, and while they pray that the Western world comes to their rescue.
But you have China with tons of drones. Good luck with a guerrilla offensive. That's what I'm saying.
By the time you put an infantryman on shore, he's going to be able to stroll ashore.
I think it's all drone warfare. It's mainly robotics and
people will come afterward to sort of occupy the space.
I think you have to have manpower.
You have to have manpower occupy the space. But by the time they come ashore, the drones and the aircraft and the cruise missiles will have done most of the fighting and the killing, and it will not be like a, drop the ramp and storm the beach kind of a scenario.
Yeah, I just think those states are done.
I don't think they are. I think they'll still live on.
Maybe
That's
Taiwan
always
secretly has the world's biggest swarm of drones just waiting.
a huge Target account, like those shit drones, like the fucking the ones you unfold, like when you go backpacking. You're like, damn it. Well, boys, I said don't take a pee break, and that's why, because it takes you down all these roads. This is the time when actually we take a pee break. Is it real pee break time?
Pee break.
Pee break.
Got it.
But that's when someone opens up and they're honest. That's the reason that things were written in beer halls and town halls and things like the Declaration of Independence. But it's like, alcohol is an interesting drug because
Hang on, that's a solid point that's worth kind of emphasizing. Is the Declaration of Independence was born out of some rowdy motherfuckers at a pub who were like, I'm kind of fucking tired of the way we're being treated. Let's do something.
Yeah,
like,
but also Nazi.
Here.
Yes, but also Nazi Party was probably written in a couple Oktoberfest, but in beer halls. But there is something about that drug of alcohol that throws inhibitions away and you don't care about consequences. But then there's a certain thing of honesty that's being told and true. You know, the idea of a beer hall is somewhere where you throw down guard. That's why going to comedy clubs, and I find comedy a very interesting thing, because it's like, yes, we're throwing out the social norms and we're letting down the guard to just be honest. And we're going to talk about irony and truths and the way some things seem taboo, but let's talk about them, and what we're calling sacred, we can kind of fuck up a little bit.
Two people who tell the truth, drunks and comedians.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're saying the same things.
Yeah.
The more you can bring it back or loop it like an episode of Seinfeld or South Park, what you're creating is irony. You're hitting a punchline. You're bringing the whole story to a thesis, and boom, this is the funny part, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's what this is like you're listening to someone's perspective of what they think the funny part is. I've lived my entire life of seeing my life through my lens. But there's things that I like listening, like you're like, oh, you want to go down dogs? It's like, yes, absolutely. I will talk a whole bunch about dogs, and you know what? I know nothing about dogs, but I'll love to talk about dogs. But so you're like, no, I have dogs and I do this and I know this about hunting. And it's like, it's fun to go down someone else's rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, let me tell you.
And it is open. And it's, you're holding it wide. Those cheeks are wrapped, dude.
Just dive in there, fella.
Just dive right in that fucking hole.
He's sniffing his own toes. It's so open. It's weird. But that's what I want, is you to be vulnerable, but not vulnerable, to be honest. And that is just, you're telling something you know. And that's what's fun. That's why rifleman camp's fun. I did not serve with a bunch of dudes with guns, and I can tell you how to go shoot. But I do a camp from Tobin, and he's being very honest, and this is what I know. I'm teaching you this. That's why there's something so rewarding about jiu-jitsu and teaching, is because when I teach, people look at me with eyes and a face that is so honest that I don't get anywhere else in life. When you go to work, no one is as thankful for, like, thank you for showing me how to hook up this outlet. You know, but when you go to jiu-jitsu and you teach, people look at you and they take something away that they're like, this is actually, it works, but you're teaching me non-bullshit. You're trying to teach me how to be the most efficient. And they're very thankful, right? You don't get that anywhere else in life. But it's because someone's being super honest and they're teaching you the skills that they know.
Well,
and
and also you're going to prove it immediately. If they're not being honest, you're going to find out. That's the one thing about martial arts, is that, I guess not all martial arts, but about some of the well, no, I was going to say about jiu-jitsu is that if somebody's feeding you a bunch of bullshit, as soon as you go roll, you're going to find out that it was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. The nice thing about it too is that people are there because they want to be there, so they're seeking it out. Yeah. So you have a audience of willingness participants, as opposed to somebody, like you said, like if you go to somebody's house, thank you for hooking up my whatever, or here's money, leave now. Like you're a nuisance, right? But it's an extracurricular activity kind of thing, like a hobby that you have and you're doing outside of work for your enjoyment. And when you're fucking following a passion or interested in something and somebody is there guiding, the exchange in energy is a lot different than an exchange for goods or services. You know what I mean? Like,
Jordan, hang on. I haven't talked to you about this ever. Have you had bad coaches? I've had bad coaches. I've had very knowledgeable coaches that have taught me stuff that's like, this changed my game, but you are not a good coach. You're just you're figuring it out.
I've had bad coaches who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
I've had coaches who are just bad people.
Yeah.
I've had
usually that's one and the same.
No, I've had a coach that was great at
showing
you what it was on the mat, but then like,
but that's not
mat,
a coach.
They were a fucking wreck.
Yeah, yes,
but it was also like, the realization of that was.
But
years later.
Coaching isn't just showing. Coaching is like, when I've competed, I've always had my real coaches in the corner. And the times that I have competed and I've had it like bad coaches in the corner, it makes me fight less. Like, I have less of a confidence because the people in my corner are lesser. All my wins, I feel like I came from good coaching and camps. All my losses, I'm not blaming it on them, but I'm saying like I felt like I didn't have the momentum of the gym behind me.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that there's it's interesting as you go further and further down the line. Like it's like anything else. You have to experience bad to appreciate good, right? Like you're painting the picture of life, and if you're like you haven't experienced all of it, you're kind of given a black fucking marker and expected to draw this pretty crazy picture, and you can certainly. But when you have good coaches or bad coaches, and it kind of like are better coaches or good, all these just little things. It's like giving you color to use on this canvas of like what you're doing. And when you can start adding all the color, and that's where really like crazy things come alive, is like you have to have experiences. So you need bad coaches to know the difference. Some people walk into like to what we were talking about earlier when he said all martial arts, and then he said not all, and he stopped because there's fucking McDojos out there, and that's exactly what he was thinking, and we all knew exactly what he meant without him saying it, because we've seen it where it's like the guys who are like fucking blowing on people and knocking them down, or fucking they grab their wrist and they like shake it around, they do a flip, you know what I mean? But there's people who truly believe that, and they're going to this person like, this is a grand master, my master is the grandest of masters, and it's like, buddy, you're fucking being sold snake oil. So to have a tangible skill,
that compete.
No,
like
of course
a gym
not,
that constantly.
But that's what I'm saying.
Night.
Like, that was what I was going to say was, when you get to jiu-jitsu, like Tobin was saying, and it's like, well, you're going to learn this, and then you're going to do this. And if you are going in a live roll and you find out that fucking choke isn't really a fucking choke that works, well, guess fucking what? Like, now we're fucked, right? So there's a little bit of prove it in that I really like about tangible wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, all these things. It's like there's prove it in it, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to prove it in a second, which is nice. Whereas like the other bullshit.
Do you think tennis matches that? Because that's one-on-one.
I think
there's combat sports, but there's still one-on-one.
Yeah, I think there's one on fucking ping pong, but I think a lot of it. Dude, I think there's some of it that like is real no shit like ability, but I'm sure there's technique that is fucking through the roof that we're not able to pick up on.
Yeah, but you have to spend your life doing it.
Yeah, but
we spend our life doing one thing.
Yeah,
I don't have to think when I move. I just move.
So tell me your shitty coach.
Fuck, man. When I was fighting, like, so when I got like 21, 22, I was I broke up with a girl, and I got like, I was super fat in this relationship. I'm like, I got to do something. So I started playing basketball with my friends and working out again. I was super fit before, but I just like chunked up in the relationship. And so we broke up, and it was like, I got to do something. And it just, nothing was hitting the same. Like working out, lifting weights, nothing is like, I miss wrestling. Like UFC, all my friends watched it and stuff. And it's like, they're like, oh, that's the craziest thing ever. And it's like, not really. It looks like wrestling with boxing. And I was just like, I'm going to do it. So I just went and did it. I found a gym. Like I just
Random gym you walked into?
No, I went and checked out a bunch of different places. I went in Bellevue and Renton because I did stickers and stuff, but I had a place in Newport Hills.
Okay.
Like on the golf course by
Victoria?
Yeah, what is that? China Creek and that golf.
Well, it might as well be China Creek now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's Curry Creek.
But we just had a house out there because that's where I grew up in Issaquah, and then I had friends. And anyways, so I checked out a bunch of gyms, and then I finished at Charlie's, and I just started. I did it all day, every day.
So, what was the bad coach? What was the bad coach you've had?
I got hurt there. Good one. Good one. I got hurt there, so I was fighting. I was doing it all the time. It was like 2 years in. It was all I did for 2 years. I went snowboarding, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Check this out. I'm going to slide a rail. And it was just like, whoop, upside down. I'm like, hey, I separated my shoulder. So it's like, fight career, going to hang out those gloves. But it's all I wanted to do. So I went to 24-hour fitness, and I hit on the bag all the time. And then all of a sudden, the guy that taught karate there was like there one time when I was kicking to like run. There was kickboxing class at like 3. And I was just like, can I just kick the bag in the corner? I'm not here for power fitness. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And so I did my thing while he did his. And he did the class. I kicked that bag, and he came over, and he's like, what do you do? And I told him I was just done MMA fighting for 2 years. And he was he was a black belt in karate. His family ran the fitness thing at this gym. Blah, blah, blah. We met. Like, it just sparked a thing. He started an MMA gym. That's where I got involved with jiu-jitsu. Like in a gi was when that guy started that gym. And it really busted my skills to a next level because he was a point style karate fighter. So he taught me so much good footwork and kicking and spinning back kicks. My Kozak's hips can move. Like me and Elvis, the king, right? I can do a little bit of footwork. But I learned it from a point-style karate guy, and it was like, wow, this is cool. It's good fighting. And I brought a way more MMA level to it. And I made him I'm like, jiu-jitsu has to happen. He got a black belt, dude, from a Gracie gym. And then there was a huge attraction. They had a kids program, like we had a kids program there that drove that because it was family karate. So that drove money, but then it turned into an MMA thing. And kids, we probably had 25 kids, and I was driving this little kids MMA program. Like it was our group. Like they were 15, 16, 17, 20, it wasn't kids, but it was kids.
Yeah.
And
this guy like diddled one of them?
No.
Where's the bad coaching coming in? This is the longest story ever.
The bad coaching came in because
we're letting him get deep.
He had a great program and it did really well, but he then was like, I'm making money. And so guys were like, I want to be a pro fighter. And I came from a fight gym. And it's like, I don't like what's happening. Guy would be like, I want to fight. And he goes, cool, you're pro. And I would go corner a guy that's like, I can beat the shit out of this guy. This is going to be our pro guy. And I cornered like 4 or 5 guys.
Just feeding guys.
Dude,
fucking
and
meat
you
into
would
the
get
grinder.
a check for like $2,000. It's like, I hate you. I am out of here. You are just feeding this to, you're not growing someone.
No, you're
That's
just
what it's
looking
like.
for a payday.
So-
yeah, that's dirty pool, dude.
So to me, to have it, to what this is, it's like, are you kidding me? You're looking at someone that wants to grow someone in so many more ways than just, I'm going to show you how to fight. I'm going to show you how to fight through life. And that's what I mean when it's bad coaching. It's not bad coaching like this is bad technique.
No, I know exactly
It's
what you
someone
mean. Yeah.
that you're like, I don't align
Bad life
with
coaching.
you teaching me how to fight because you can't fight in life. Your morals aren't fighting. Your warrior code is so fucking off, and your compass has nothing to do with martial arts.
Yeah.
That is bad coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Longest story ever.
No, I mean it ended with a bang. You know, it was worth it. That was the crescendo of
But
fucking.
I learned so much. Like you said, doesn't mean you can't learn
Yeah,
skills.
up until that last bit, I was like, this guy seems like pretty fucking solid. Seems like pretty
I know.
fucking.
I know. I was like, I
I
know.
was like, where's this bad guy? Like, is some new guy came to the gym and was, fucking everybody's wives? What happened? No, that was him.
But skills.
Yeah, I think it's imperative when people go to an MMA
Fighting
gym
is-
that they want to truly
Fighting
learn
is-
to fight, and they show up and they end up jumping into a fucking MMA fight in a couple months. A bad juju.
How about just putting a guy amateur? How about
yeah,
a guy
but-
signs
but
up
I
for
mean-
3 months. He's like, you want to fight a pro fight?
I've been
and
to-
it's like Mike's your corner. It's like, all right, buddy, here's our plan. And the dude's like, I'm gonna fuck him up. It's like, wait, no, calm down.
There's some gyms where they have to invite you to the MMA class. It's like, oh, you want to do MMA? Great. We'll go to boxing. Okay,
Yeah.
now go to wrestling. Now go to jiu-jitsu. Now do some kickboxing. Okay, you've kind of been around all these for a little while. Okay, why don't you come in? We'll invite you to the MMA night. And then they come in and train with the MMA team. And it's like, well, there you go. That kind of shows that you're worthy, or you want to do it, and that when you do it, you're going to be dedicated to it because you're putting in time, doing all these other things. And now when you're going to actually, when it's going to happen, it's going to happen,
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I loved, like, I was offered fighting. Like, my coaches offered me multiple, like, one at Charlie's, man, I was offered fights. They're like, do you want to do a fight? And it's like, no, not really. And then I was like, and it was a couple times, but then it's like, when it happened, it's like, dude, I've just been training with iron. It's like, let's fucking do it. Let's fucking see what the skills are made of.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best fucking thing there, but it was also great coaching, and I could run through a brick wall at that time. It was also phenomenal conditioning,
yeah.
but it gives you that spark and that love.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think there's
But you saw
something.
what a group of people that was true dedication and coaches that were into it for you.
Yeah.
Having someone in your corner that was also shouting what to do also helps.
Knowing the actual technical side of it.
Yeah, but you get lost in your first fight.
Well, being able to listen to a coach, like I've had coaches where like their voice cuts through the crowd
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's
yeah.
like we have a
Dude.
thing where I know this guy, I know his voice, and I know to do exactly what's being said because I trust it.
Do you ever remember the weirdest things during, like, when you're competing and just hearing, like, even people yelling? And it's like, let's go, Mike. And it's like, who the fuck is that? And like, you're trying to battle someone, but you're just in your head, you're like, who was that?
Yeah.
You're trying to work it out.
Yeah, sounded hot. No, my most of the time is like pretty for me. I mean, you can hear people, but I'm really kind of just
Focus on the thing.
zoomed in. There's not a whole lot going on. Although I will say, like, sometimes I get fucking distracted by the weirdest thing.
That's what I'm.
Where
Yeah,
it's
that's what I
like-
mean. That thing.
Like something, but it was rarely was it something off the mat. Most of the time, it had to do with like something on them, or even sometimes the fucking mat itself. Where it's like, oh, look at the little fucking flaw on the mat there, or like something weird, you know?
Yeah.
Or like somebody's shoes. When during wrestling, I'd like be looking at somebody's shoes in the middle of a match and be like, oh, that's fucking cool, you know? There's a lot of little weird things, and I don't know if that's a coping mechanism or if that's just loss of focus, or if that's...
I think that's your ultra, like when you're fighting, like you kind of get into a little bit of a flow state, like you know someone's throwing hammers at you or like fists, so like you're blocking and trying to dive in and get underhooks and start grappling. So like as you're doing that, you're like looking to the side and you're like, oh shit, there's red letters on that. You know, you just take little micro fragments from intense situations and you remember them in weird ways. But that, I think what that is it's like markers. Like if you have a fight that goes 3 rounds for 5 minutes or something like that, you're going to take away certain things. It's like, oh, I remember the bottom turnbuckle a lot in the second round when I was totally mounting them. So you take a little anchor, boom, that's a weird thing. And on that buckle, there was white writing, but then the P in the word was purple. That was weird, you know? And you just take purple round. That you just remember that, you know? Yeah. And you're just remembering these highlights.
Yeah, during I think I wonder if it's the same in like biking, like downhill biking. Was there things that would like all of a sudden a fucking root would stick out and you like would be thinking about it for the next couple, or is it like you have to be?
Yeah, if something caught you by surprise, sometimes it could stick in your head a little bit. But one of the progressions, one of the things you get good at is just reacting to the trail on site, like without. Like you have so much natural movement with the bike that you're no longer thinking. You're just seeing and reacting.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of more or less what
wrestling and jiu-jitsu are the same.
Yeah. I think that's, I mean,
what
when
about
you start
combat? Hang on, I'm going to go down
that's
that
what I
road.
wanted. That's where I was going. Yeah.
What about combat? Are there certain things from like battles that you remember? You're like that even though you had a direct mission, it's something odd you focused on that wasn't associated with the thing you were supposed to be enacted in at that moment.
I remember being like, this wasn't like as we were in contact, but I remember being in heavy traffic in Mosul, which was always nerve-wracking because we would just drive these just sedans, look like as best we could make them look like local cars. And we're sitting, and so you're very vulnerable when you're stuck in traffic because you're a lot of times they don't respect traffic lanes. You can't even open the car doors. You're just stuck. If somebody makes you and starts shooting at you, you don't really know how many rounds those windows can take before they give way, and they definitely will not hold back an RPG.
They're bulletproof, or
they're level 6 armor.
Okay,
which it's glass that's like 3 inches thick and steel plating in the doors and the belly plate.
Nice.
But the cars those ones look like normal ass cars.
They strap a goat to the hood. It's incognito mode.
Bro, yeah. We painted one like a taxi cab, and people would it was a Suburban, and we painted it white and orange like a fucking Iraqi taxi. Yeah. And when we were in traffic, people would come up and try to open the fucking doors and be like, I fucking point a gun at them, and they're like, oh shit. But anyway.
Security.
I remember being stuck in traffic one day, which is nerve-wracking. And so you're looking all around, kind of like, think like, have you guys watched Sicario? Mm-hmm. You know that border crossing scene where they're sort of stuck there and they're looking all around. They're like, which of these cars is a threat? That's exactly,
that's
that
scary,
scenario.
Dude. Don't say that.
And I remember looking over my left shoulder, and this guy had his finger like 3 knuckles deep in his nose, and he pulls it out and he looks at the tip of his finger, and then he just goes, we're like, oh,
just ate a booger.
Just chowed it down, dude. Man.
Oh, that's gross.
Just in the middle of all those. Holy shit, look at this guy. Threat.
Yeah.
Man,
it's weird. Your brain sometimes just focuses. Well, I mean, that's actually no. That deserves. If that happens anywhere,
honorable mention.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Could you imagine right before like the nuclear bomb? They're like 3, 2, 1.
Wait a minute. Did you just eat a booger?
The whole thing goes off. Wow.
My God, man. Did you just put that in your mouth?
Just enough time to look at him. What the boo? Man.
That's nuts, dude. Booger eaters?
Yeah.
Hang on. That's a real thing, though. Later, I felt like that existed earlier in my life. Is that a kid thing to be a booger eater?
Yeah.
I never
Oh,
was.
yeah. Both
Gonna
my
put
kids.
that out there. But I wouldn't.
I claim the fifth. Yeah. And both my kids were.
You guys a bunch of booger eaters, dude. Oh my God. It's all coming together.
Epigenetics, huh? These things fucking.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Run deep.
Run deep, yeah. Fucking
Represent.
yeah. 20 generations, man. Yeah, I don't remember if I ever did that.
Booger eating?
Yeah, I don't think
Do you
I was.
remember seeing kids do it?
Oh,
growing up?
absolutely remember
Yeah.
seeing kids do it. I constantly, though, have my fucking hand in my, constantly picking my nose to
Oh
this
yeah.
day.
It's also
yeah.
your
I
area.
do it constant.
Do you do the neti pot thing where you pour the water through your nose?
No, I have, but you
That's
know,
good.
to mixed results. I had the
Hey,
one that
post
like
COVID, I approve.
I had the one that like you'd squirt in there, and it was like, this is kind of nice. Yeah, it's like, every once in a while. Yeah,
Straight.
dude, you see the
neti pot
videos.
is nice because it's a nice flow. It has a little hole in it, so it has to have it's constantly
But I
equalizing pressure.
see.
So
I
it's
need
a
the
constant
pressure
drip.
though. When I get a
You
freaking,
need
I
the
just
pressure.
run
You need
it through
thick
there.
and
Just,
deep in there. Oh yeah, shove it deep in that nostril. Yeah. You need full penetration and blowout.
Dude, have you seen
You got a
the
dirty
videos of
little
those
nasal
little
passage.
kids with
Chew.
oh,
Chew.
have you ever seen the videos of that? And they just had those huge boogers just coming out. And it's like
Kids?
like babies,
Yeah,
like
that was my
infants.
life growing
and
up.
it's like, how
don't you
the
remember
fuck?
grade school or kindergarten? Mm-hmm. Kids were gross,
Oh, kids were gross, but
dude.
Yeah,
I remember first.
did you ever
grade-
have lice?
No.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You're like, no.
Oh, come on. Everybody had lice in the 80s.
Yeah,
Yeah, your mom had to go to the health department and get like the special shampoo and the comb.
I remember.
end up with mayonnaise all over your head at the end of the day.
I remember,
We're killing it saran wrapped.
dude. I remember like twice a week. Like you would get in grade school, you get in line, and you'd like,
they'd comb
like a
through your hair.
teacher would have like cut off, like probably a lunch lady would have like
exactly.
straws, like cut down into quarters, like their little lunch lady chopsticks, and they'd go through your hair,
Yeah.
and look for lights,
Dude.
yeah.
Fuck.
But I don't. Does that still happen?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
You
Dude,
can't
do you
have
remember?
it.
Do you,
Dude,
well,
The
with all the
rape
shit they feed,
claims. You couldn't do it now.
with all.
I'm gonna have a bunch of lunch ladies massage your children's heads with cut off straws.
Do you remember?
Are you kidding me?
Do you remember them checking like for scoliosis? Or like,
Oh, yeah,
do you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that where you'd bend over and
Yeah.
they'd fucking run their hand down your back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that no fucking
Yeah,
go today.
yeah.
No fucking go.
Yeah.
That's a hard stop. Like, we'll find out if he got it at some
I got
point.
some hard scoliosis. I did a hard stop, dude. Some old
Yeah,
lunch
dude,
ladies
there was a
filling you
ton-
up.
This is why we need video cameras.
Yeah, no shit. There was a ton of shit that they used to do to us like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Oh my
the
God.
fucking teachers, man.
You know how bad your scoliosis has to be if a lunch lady, not a doctor, catches it? You must be shaped like the letter fucking Z.
Just the fucking scoliosis screen with the fucking lunch lady.
Dude, you are hurt.
Do you
dude.
remember the lunch lady though? Dude,
yeah.
Me and the lunch lady were tight. I got us.
I believe that.
I got us tight to the lunch lady.
Of course.
Dude, I was like,
Be
Yeah.
nice.
fucking
That
go.
was chapter 1 in my book about you. Are you serious? It's all matching up, dude.
Yeah, dude, you had me pegged, huh?
Oh my god.
Never mind. That's not what I meant, dude. That's not what I meant. Yeah, dude, Dude, I'd double up on milk every once in a while. I'd be like, yo, let me get double chocolate, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we had fun. We had fun that lunch, lady.
Yeah, I bet.
But I feel like everybody had the same lunches growing up, too.
Yeah. Oh, the square cut pizza.
It was square cut pizza. It was fucking
Burritos. The bad, like, they're basically gas
Nasty.
station
Cheese
burritos.
zombies?
Yeah. I don't know about that. I remember there was Nacho Day, which was basically 7-Eleven. It was 7-Eleven food is what it was.
I was the Issaquah School District.
we had what was it, turkey gravy and mashed potatoes day?
Well,
That was
delicious.
the fucking best.
Did you have
day.
potato bar?
No, we didn't have that fancy shit.
Yeah. The Issaquah School District.
We're not.
Issaquah.
I grew up in Omek.
We didn't
No?
have a potato bar. But dude,
The turkey and mashed potato gravy day was like a highlight.
yeah, that was the
Square
the
pizza.
day.
Square
With a
pizza was
roll.
pretty awesome
With
in
a warm
second grade.
roll.
That's right.
Fuck
yeah,
me,
get the
dude.
fuck out of here. Yeah, yeah.
That was good.
Living large.
Yeah. Fuck, double up on milk that day, dude. Oh, that was solid shit. You're good to go. Those trays too.
Oh yeah,
The tray they put it all on.
little green beans in the corner.
Oh, dude, fucking those green beans were something else. How much shit do you think they fed us that was just like,
terrible.
this is absolute
It
dog
literally
shit?
was it was 7-Eleven food, and that turkey gravy and mashed potatoes was probably like just Hungry Man's in bigger portions.
Issaquah School District.
Yeah, you guys,
I
your
lived
your
well.
lunch
Yeah, I know,
ladies
you
were
guys eating
actually
salmon sushi.
You didn't have pheasant?
You guys didn't have quail?
Yeah, it
Quail
was pretty
eggs?
cool.
Poached quail eggs.
Fourth grade, we got wild caught salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh caught.
Yeah.
Fresh caught. The principal would go out and fucking catch it.
Oh, dude, in school, I had a math teacher, Mr. Valenta, and he had
Shout out Valenta.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
He had a glass eye, and he was a crazy archery bow hunter back in the day. Like, this is back in maybe 1992.
Which is how he came to have a glass eye.
93, but he had a glass eye. But he got that glass eye he wasn't a crazy archery hunter when he got the glass eye. He was fishing on a river, and he hooked into a huge fish, and he was reeling it in, and he was pulling it, and the hook came out, or it ripped out in the mouth somehow, and he pulled it, and that hook snapped back and hit him in the eye, and it took out his eye.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but he was a badass dude.
Yeah, well, yeah. Shitty fisherman.
No sharp hooks.
That dude was over
best.
fucking zealous, huh?
Yeah.
Golly. No, that scares the shit out of me. Losing an eye would be fucking the worst.
Yeah.
I'd rather lose a finger.
Then your eye.
I'd almost rather
many
lose a
things.
fucking
I'd rather lose a leg than,
Yeah.
than my sight.
Yeah.
I got 9 of them
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to choose your sight or your fucking leg, yeah, I'm taking my leg off every day.
Yeah.
Maybe keep that sight. If you're gonna lose a sense like that, dude, could you imagine? Like,
To be
Fuck.
to
go
to
blind?
adapt to life.
Not
blind?
just one
At
eye, not
44
one
years
eye.
old. You fucking kidding me?
if it's one eye, it's kind
one
of
eye,
like
maybe.
That's what he had. He had
Yeah,
one eye.
but now
We're
we're
hang on,
talking
but
full.
This
we're-
conversation has evolved.
Yeah, keep with it, dude.
Yeah.
This is we're evolving.
This is
as
what we
humans
do.
right now.
We pick a topic and we stay on track.
Yeah. So you lose a sense. You got your senses. Which one are you willing to lose?
I'm doing pretty good without hearing.
I need to hear too.
That's true because of music.
Yeah, I'm touch. Was
No.
it touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing?
You know what's interesting is that
Those are the five.
you saying that we are primarily visual creatures, and yet think about how important
Everything.
touch is to us. Like with,
Oh
with your
yeah. I mean, that's all your.
with your cat when you're at
Yeah,
home
dude.
at night
Could you imagine, dude?
by yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very
I'm
important.
hoping to find out how important it is in a little bit when we get off
When
this podcast.
Dim the lights here,
Yeah, dude.
No.
Let's just close our eyes and feel around, boys.
Mike. You got a candle?
Weird incense start burning.
Yeah. Nah, I could probably go without my smell.
How's the sound bath make you
Can't
feel?
smell. Does that mean you would not enjoy food anymore?
No, I think
'Cause you would
taste,
not
taste,
taste
and
very much.
smell
Are
are
very-
different. They're close, but I think they're different.
But one
yeah.
complements the other, I think.
Certainly does. Absolutely, but I'm not going to give up anything else.
It's true.
I want to be able to hear some music because, dude, the sound of your guys' voice. I don't think we're good enough friends.
I could live without it.
I don't think we're good enough friends for you guys to learn how to sign to me. You know?
Yeah.
You're gonna learn some ALS. Fuck, dude. Could you imagine losing your fucking hearing and having to learn sign language at this age?
It'd be better than having to learn to adapt to life without eyesight.
Yeah. I saw a guy who looked like he was just Friday, and he looked like he was no, I'm sorry, it was fucking Tuesday. It was yesterday. Like he just got blind, and he was like learning to adapt, and he was falling
down a lot.
I felt so fucking bad. Part of me wanted to like help him down the street because we were on a block, and he was walking down the street with his cane, kind of searching the thing, taking it easy, but really feeling out where the fuck he's going. And it's like you'd see him like kind of walk off the path into like a grass yard a little bit, but it's like an old meth fucking trap house.
Yeah.
So it's like condemned. So then he'd like get back on there and he'd start walking, and then he's walking and feeling the cracks and stuff, and then he walks right into a fucking table right next to him. He like feels it with this thing or his little cane and stops, and then's like, okay, and he feels it and he's like, okay, yeah, I could tell it was a table, and he starts talking to us, and then as he's talking to us, because like, how much help should I give you, or how, like, am I going to offend you?
Yeah.
But he's talking to us, and he walks right into one of those little fucking A-frame signs, and it was like, God damn it. And it was like, hey, dude, no, come over here. And then he like steps around the sign to the right, which takes him closer to the building that we're on, the sidewalk, and then walks into our table. And like, it's like, dude, like
It's also possible he's just a clumsy blind guy.
It could be. I mean, he seemed nice enough. He seemed like, I mean, obviously he's not hiding it, right? Like, and he gets over and we're like, yeah, you know, just
maybe he is.
Get over
maybe
here.
It's a perfect front.
Dude,
Didn't we talk about heist movies a little bit
was-
ago?
it
And
was-
then we said retarded janitor.
It was
might be one of the top
right
10.
next to the German syndicate something or another.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
What?
So yeah,
He's reconning
Seattle.
the place.
The
He might have,
Germans.
and he looked German.
Germans haven't done anything. What? I would have known about it.
Yeah. So he went and he was walking down the fucking way, but it was just like, bro, like that is a fucking rough life.
Yeah.
And he didn't look like he was been dealing with it for a while. You know what I mean? It looked pretty fresh.
No.
To have that bad of control over that. I mean, but who knows? Like new street, all of a sudden, the shit that would like, close your eyes and walk through this garage. You're gonna stub the fuck out of your toe. Like you ain't making it. And I don't care if you have a stick in front of you. Yeah. Okay. Well, come to my house and walk through the garage. Good.
You have to form a mental map.
Yeah, but you know,
You don't. You're not.
But
into mapping.
imagine trying to go to another restaurant, you know, or like imagine trying to get anywhere that you haven't already been.
Shuffle footing. When you
Dude,
emergency,
he was.
think of a plane.
Low
If a
crawl.
plane crashes, what do? You're not leaping and bounding. You're shuffle footing with a good stance.
Yeah, I mean,
It's football drills all over again.
Yeah, fat, quick feet, quick feet.
Yeah, you're a little shuffler. You're a little
Yeah.
robot, dude.
Yeah, dude, the calves he would have if he was doing that. Dude, he
Just
was-
built like a jackrabbit.
He was a bigger guy
Just
too.
sloped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm losing my fucking taste, or I mean my smell.
Smell. Dewey Cox.
Yeah, I've gone smell blind.
Smell blind.
Yeah,
Is that what he says?
yeah, I've gone smell blind.
smell nothing. I lost my sense of smell.
Oh, look, and then he's like at the
That's
very
funny.
end, they're like, look at all he's accomplished being smell blind.
That is, like, I love that movie because, each drug he does corresponds to like the generation of music that like when he goes into like coke and it's like, you sound like a punk, Dewey. And then it's like he goes into LSD and like, you know, he does every drug and it's perfect.
So
when
funny.
the beginning, when he's like in the
weed.
50s and it's like, I want to hold your hand. They're like, this is the devil's music. It's like, it's literally a song about holding hands. Like it's every hierarchy and structure of music. It's perfect. That's a great.
That is a good movie.
Only Mike Kozak would go deep into the underlying themes of Dewey Cox.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why we love him.
That's what it does.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yep. And I think right there, let's end it because it's getting late. And I think we're at 2 hours anyway.
Perfect.
So, hey,
we would have been at 4.
What's that?
Why'd you guys
What's
stop
that?
us?
Oh, this is marijuana.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Before we hang it up, share the show with your friends because again, we're trying to grow the listenership, and leave us a review because we've got a couple hundred downloads a week and only 30 reviews ever. I think on maybe 30 on iTunes and 30 on Spotify.
Yeah, give us some reviews.
Take
Give us some
30
love,
seconds.
please.
Give us a review already.
Please.
Later.
Yeah.